Right on the porch was a little setup that didn't belong. A white bakery box, ribbon-tied like it came out of a Hallmark movie. A bouquet of cheap gas station roses, bright red, wilting on the edges. And tucked between the two, a folded piece of paper, heart-shaped sticker sealing it shut. My wife's name was scrawled on it in the kind of cursive that screams I'm trying way too hard. And mine sure as hell wasn't on it. I stood there staring like I just stumbled on someone else's anniversary. It was the kind of moment you see in movies, right before the husband turns into the villain. But I didn't yell. Didn't even touch it. Just stared. Let it sit there like a wound on our welcome mat. I unlocked the front door, left everything where it was, and walked inside. The place was quiet. Too quiet. She wasn't home. No surprise there. Said she was running errands. Didn't say what kind. I checked the kitchen. Empty. No note. No dinner in the oven. Just the hum of the fridge and the low drumroll of my thoughts pounding in my skull. So I waited. An hour passed. Maybe more. I didn't check the clock. Just sat at the kitchen table, watching that front door like it owed me answers. When her keys finally jingled in the lock, I didn't stand up. Just sat there, hands folded like I was the one who had some explaining to do. Hey, babe, she said, hanging her purse. Sorry I took so long, traffic was murder. I didn't say a word. Just nodded toward the door. She blinked. What? I jerked my chin. Checked the porch. Her eyes flicked to the door. I watched her face drop before she even turned the knob. That's how I knew. You can't fake that freeze. That gut-sinking fear. She opened the door, and there it was, flowers, cake, and Cupid's stupid handwriting. She didn't touch it. Just stood there, back to me. Go on, I said, voice low. Open the note. She didn't move. Don't make me read it for you. Finally, she bent down, peeled the sticker off, and unfolded it with fingers that shook more than she wanted me to see. Her shoulders tensed. Her breathing changed. What's it say? I asked. Nothing, she muttered, too quickly. I stood up. She turned, face flushed. It's not what you think. No. I took the paper from her hand. Read it out loud like a death sentence. To my sweet Jessica, your smile makes every delivery worth it. I can't stop thinking about yesterday. Hope you liked the peach cake. Can't wait to see you again. I stared at her. You gonna tell me what happened yesterday? Or should I guess? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Like a fish gasping on dry land. It was stupid, she finally said. A mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. The next morning, the flowers were gone. Not by my hand, she must have taken them in, or maybe thrown them out before I woke up. I didn't ask, didn't care. What got me wasn't that she got rid of them. It was that she did it quietly, like a child hiding the evidence but not the crime. I drank my coffee in silence. She hovered in the kitchen, pretending to clean a countertop that hadn't been dirty since Tuesday. It was all fidgeting now, her, the sponge, the air between us. You going into work today? She asked. I didn't answer. Just stared at the steam rising from my mug. She tried again. I'm thinking of talking to someone. Like a counselor. I finally looked up. You think a therapist's gonna scare off Romeo? Her face dropped. That guy isn't confused. He's in love. And you let him believe it. Jessica's mouth opened, then closed again. That's become her thing lately, starting sentences she doesn't know how to finish. You said it was a mistake, I continued. One time, right? She nodded, barely. Then why is he still showing up like it's Valentine's Day? She didn't answer. I didn't push. Because part of me didn't want to hear it. What happened next, I chalk up to pride. Or maybe just dumb male instinct. But I had to know what I was up against. I took the day off work. Sat in my car, engine idling, parked down the street from our house like I was staking out a target. Because I was. I needed to see it for myself. Needed to know how bold this clown really was. At 10:22 a.m., the white van pulled up. One of those generic Courier vans with no logo, no company name, just enough duct tape holding the back bumper in place to qualify as road legal. He hopped out, bouquet in hand again. Different flowers this time. Daisies, maybe. Cheap, like a teenager's first apology. He walked right up to the door like he owned it. I waited. He rang the bell, then knocked twice. The kind of knock that assumes it'll be answered. She opened the door. No hug. No kiss. But no slap, either. She stepped out and pulled the door behind her. They talked on the porch. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see it. Him. Animated. Smiling. Leaning in like a dog begging for scraps. Her. Arms crossed. Looking over her shoulder like I might pop up from the flower bed. Good. She was scared. She should be. After a few minutes, she shook her head and took a step back. That's when he reached into his pocket and handed her something. I nearly got out of the car. She looked down at it. Some kind of necklace, maybe. Her eyes darted again, toward my car this time. I sank lower in the seat, heart pounding. She handed it back to him. He didn't take it. He dropped it on the mat. And then he did something that made my hands ball into fists so tight my nails cut skin. He blew her a kiss. Like a damn cartoon character. She didn't respond. Just picked up the necklace, shoved it into his chest, and mouthed something. I'm guessing go home. Maybe get help. He walked back to his van slow, like he was waiting for her to stop him. She didn't. When he drove off, I gave it 10 more minutes, then pulled in. She was already back inside. The necklace? In the trash. I walked into the kitchen. She was at the sink again. Always the sink. He's been here, I said flatly. She turned, surprised, but not surprised enough. I told him to leave. I made it clear, again. He just doesn't get it. You made it clear? I asked, stepping closer. What did you say? Sorry, my husband's starting to notice the roses and candy. Maybe we should cool it till he calms down? No, she said, voice sharp. I told him it was wrong. That it shouldn't have happened. That it won't happen again. And he bought that? Or did he drop off another love letter with your Amazon package? She glared. You think this is easy for me? I laughed, bitter. Easy for you. You're not the one wondering how long the fool's been coming around, dropping treats like a dog at your door. You're not the one second-guessing every trip to the store, every shower that takes too long. Her face changed then. Softened. She looked tired. Older. I didn't mean for any of this, she said quietly. It just... I don't know. After the boys left for school, I felt like a ghost. Like I didn't matter anymore. He noticed me. I didn't respond. Because she wasn't wrong. I had been working longer hours. I had stopped noticing. But I wasn't the one who crossed the line. I was still trying to decide what to do when the doorbell rang again. This time, she beat me to it. I followed her, slowly. It wasn't him. It was a neighbor, old Mrs. Clay from 2 houses down, asking if we could help get her groceries out of the car. I nodded, told her I'd be there in 5. When I turned back to Jessica, she looked like she might collapse. I thought it was him, she whispered. I didn't say it, but I thought it. So did I? And next time, it will be. I didn't sleep much that night. The house was quiet, too quiet. Jessica had taken to sleeping on the couch, not because I asked her to, but because that's where guilt puts people when they don't know how to say sorry loud enough. Or maybe it was just easier than facing the man she betrayed when the lights were off and the silence did all the talking. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying it all. The flowers. The notes. Her face when the doorbell rang. That kiss he blew like he was auditioning for some low-rent soap opera. And the worst part? That flicker in her eyes. Somewhere between shame and something else I couldn't name. It was Thursday when it happened. Mid-morning. I was supposed to be at work. But I'd called in again. Plumbing issues, I said. Not untrue. Something was leaking all right, just not from a pipe. I was in the garage, fixing a loose hinge on the workbench when I heard footsteps. Not hers. Heavier. Dumber. Then the knock. Same rhythm as before. 2 taps, a pause. Then one more like it was a secret code between lovers. The kind of knock you don't give your boss or your grandma. The kind that says, I've been here before, and I'll be here again. I walked through the laundry room, calm as you like. Opened the door. There he was. Same cheap cologne. Same goofy smirk. Same complete lack of self-preservation. Hey, he said, eyebrows raised. She home? I stared at him for a beat too long. Do you think she is? He chuckled, like this was all part of some game. Look, man, I know this is awkward. But Jess and I, we've got a connection. You can't fake that. You faked a brain scan, didn't you? He blinked. What? Nothing, I said, stepping out and pulling the door closed behind me. You've got 10 seconds to get off my porch. He looked confused, like I didn't understand the true love story unfolding in his head. No offense, bro, but she's not happy. I see the way she looks at me. She told me things. Said it wasn't working with you. Said she needed more. I laughed. And I don't mean a polite laugh. I mean one of those bitter, short, from-the-belly laughs you let out when you're 1 inch from losing it. Listen, I said, walking down a step so we were eye level. I don't care what she said when you were inside her. People say all kinds of things when they're doing what they shouldn't. That doesn't mean you get to show up at my house like this is a rom-com and I'm the guy who's supposed to just step aside while you ride off with my wife. His smile started to fade. Good. I'm telling you this once. You come back here again, you won't be leaving with flowers. You'll be leaving with teeth in a Ziploc bag. He squared up, barely. She doesn't love you, man. You're not in a position to tell me what love looks like, I said, stepping in close. You're a courier with a crush. You're a plot twist in a bad marriage, not the happy ending. He stared at me like he wanted to say something brave. He didn't. Just muttered, "This ain't over," and walked back to his van. I watched him leave, heart pounding like a hammer in my chest. And then, I turned around. Jessica was standing at the window. She'd seen everything. She opened the door as I stepped back inside. No words. Just stood there with that look, the one that tried to say thank you, but knew it had no right to. He showed up again, she finally said. Yeah, I replied. Said you two had a connection. She shook her head. He's out of his mind. No, Jess, I said, looking her dead in the eyes. He's in your mind. Because you put him there. He thinks he belongs here because you opened the door. She flinched. I told him to stop. I told him it meant nothing. Doesn't feel like nothing to him. She sat down at the kitchen table, rubbing her temples like the guilt was finally sinking into bone. I didn't mean for this. I swear. I know you didn't. But you did it anyway. I sat across from her. I need you to understand something, I said. This isn't about whether or not I still love you. I do. That's the worst part. Her eyes welled up. I never stopped loving you either. Then why? I asked, not yelling, not accusing. Just asking. She looked at her hands. Because I felt invisible. You were working all the time. The house was quiet. The boys left. I looked in the mirror and didn't see anyone. Then he came. Said I was beautiful. Brought me things. Noticed me. And you noticed him back. She nodded, slowly. I stood up. You want to fix this? You want to stay married? Then this ends. No more visits. No more texts. No more memory of him except the regret you carry. I already told him it's over. Good, I said. Because next time, I won't be this polite. A week went by. Nothing happened. No flowers. No notes. No knock on the door. It was almost enough to make you believe in second chances. Almost. Jessica was trying. I'll give her that. She started cooking again, real meals, not microwave stuff. She'd sit next to me on the couch instead of the opposite corner like we were strangers watching reruns. Even wore that old gray hoodie I used to steal from her closet. Said it smelled like back when things were simple. But the thing about trust is, once it's cracked, every shadow starts to look like a ghost. I kept seeing things. A car parked too long across the street. Her phone lighting up and going dark when I walked into the room. A receipt in the trash from a bakery on the other side of town. She said it was for the PDA bake sale. We don't have kids in grade school anymore. I wanted to believe her. But belief is a muscle, and mine was sore, strained, and barely holding weight. Then came Saturday. It started normal. Coffee. News. A trip to Home Depot. I was halfway through building a shelf in the garage when I heard the sound. A horn. Not just any horn. That sharp, chirpy beep-beep that belongs to delivery vans and clowns who think good intentions make up for bad timing. I peeked through the garage window. There he was. Same guy. Same van. Different tactic. This time, he didn't come to the porch. He stood by his van, arms crossed, waiting like he expected her to meet him halfway. Like he thought this was still a thing. I stormed into the house. Jessica was at the kitchen sink again. Always the sink. He's outside, I said. She froze. Turned. What? Don't play dumb. You didn't see the van. She shook her head, panicked. I swear, I didn't know he was coming. I haven't spoken to him. You sure? I asked. Because he looks like a guy who thinks he's got an invitation. I walked to the door, yanked it open, and stepped onto the porch. He waved. Waved. Like we were old pals meeting for a backyard barbecue. What the hell are you doing here? I barked. I just came to drop something off, he said, lifting a small white box like that explained everything. Drop it. Then leave. He stepped forward. Can I just? No. You can't just anything. Jessica came out behind me then. Barefoot. Face pale. Derek, you need to go, she said. Finally. A name to the clown. Derek looked between us, clearly confused. I don't get it. Last time we talked, you didn't say it was over. Not really. I did, she said, firm now. You just didn't want to hear it. But you. Derek, I snapped. Listen close. This ends here. You show up again. I'm filing harassment. You call again. I change the locks. You touch anything that belongs to this house, including her. I promise, I will not be polite. He stepped back, stung. Wow. So that's it, huh? All the things she told me, just lies. Jessica stayed quiet. That's what I thought, he muttered. Yes, I was the only one telling the truth. He placed the box on the steps, climbed into his van, and drove off without another word. I waited until the van turned the corner. Then I picked up the box. Inside was a cheap gold bracelet. Little charm with the letter J. Probably bought it with store credit or a coupon. Didn't matter. I dropped it straight into the trash can by the curb. Slammed the lid shut like I was sealing a coffin. Jessica stood in the doorway, arms crossed tight over her chest. I didn't know he'd come. Maybe not, I said. But he still thinks you're worth chasing. She looked down. I don't know what else to do. Start by being honest. I am, she whispered. No, I said. You're afraid. You're trying to smooth things over, play both sides. That doesn't work. You don't get to keep me while keeping a window open for him. I don't want him, she snapped, voice cracking. I want us. I want what we had. You can't have what we had, I said. That's gone. What we build now. That's up to you. But if he shows up again, you're the one who answers for it. She nodded. We didn't speak for the rest of the day. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling again. Same as before. But this time, the silence felt different. Not peaceful. Not tense. Just waiting. You don't realize how loud a lie is until you're forced to say it in front of your own kids. They came home for the holidays, our twins, Michael and Lily. Both in college now. Good kids, smart, polite, with just enough of their mother's stubbornness to drive me nuts and enough of mine to make me proud. Jessica was already in full hostess mode before they arrived. Cookies cooling on the counter, tree already decorated, the smell of cinnamon candles thick enough to choke out the tension that had settled into every corner of the house these past few weeks. She greeted the kids like nothing had happened, hugged them like she didn't have a broken promise tangled around her spine. And I played my part too. Laughed at their stories, smiled at their photos, even opened a bottle of that overpriced wine Lily brought from New York like I actually cared about hints of blackberry and oak. For a few hours, it felt normal. But normal is a costume, and mine was starting to itch. After dinner, we gathered in the living room. Michael passed out on the couch in a food coma, while Lily sat beside her mom flipping through an old photo album. That one, she said, pointing, that was the Christmas you tried to cook the ham, remember, Dad? You burned it and pretended it was smoked on purpose. I laughed. It was smoked? Just aggressively. They laughed. Jessica smiled, but her eyes flicked toward me. She hadn't laughed like that in weeks. Not with me. Lily caught the glance. Everything okay with you two? There it was. I looked at Jess. She looked at me. And for one brief second, I wanted to tell her. All of it. Just rip the Band-Aid and let the kids hear the truth about Derek, about the doorsteps, about the cracks in the foundation they thought was solid. But Jessica beat me to it. Not the truth, just the cover story. We've been working through some things, she said gently. You know, empty nest stuff. Big change. Lily nodded slowly. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I added, it's a weird phase. House is quiet. We talk more. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it ain't. We left it there. The kids bought it. Or maybe they just didn't want to dig deeper. Later that night, while Michael snored upstairs and Lily was in the shower, Jessica came into the bedroom. She stood by the doorway like a guest waiting for permission to speak. You could have told them, she said quietly. I shook my head. What good would it do? They'd take sides. Ask questions. Hate us both. She stepped closer. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix what you haven't taken responsibility for. She winced, like I'd slapped her without raising a hand. I have, she said. I'm trying. You said you were. I replied. But every time that guy shows up, it's like I'm the crazy one for getting angry. You didn't just cheat on me, Jess. You made me feel like I was invisible. You let some idiot walk into my life, my home, and act like he belonged here. I told him to stop, she said, again. And yet he keeps coming. She sat on the edge of the bed, hands twisting in her lap. Do you still love me? I looked at her for a long time. Yes, I said, but I don't trust you. And I can't sleep next to someone who makes me check the front porch every morning. That landed hard. We didn't say another word that night. I lay awake, again. And in the dark, with the faint sound of our daughter blow-drying her hair down the hall, I realized something. This wasn't about the cheating anymore. This was about whether the life we had, the one we built brick by brick, year after year, was strong enough to survive a crack through the middle. And if it was, I had no idea how to patch it. Family dinners have a way of unearthing things. Doesn't matter how well you hide the cracks, under enough pressure, they show. And when you've got everyone back under one roof, pretending nothing's wrong, that pressure builds faster than you expect. Jessica made her signature roast, the one she usually saves for Easter or when someone important comes over. Said she wanted it to feel special. What it felt like was a distraction. A well-seasoned apology she wasn't ready to say out loud. We sat at the dining table like a postcard. Jessica at one end, me at the other. Michael and Lily on the sides, filling in the blanks. Candles flickering, cloth napkins instead of paper, she was laying it on thick. Like a magazine family. Except we weren't. Michael dug in like he hadn't eaten since Halloween. God, this is amazing, Mom. I've missed this. Lily sipped her wine. Yeah. How do you make the potatoes that crispy? Mine always turn into mashed confusion. Jessica smiled, playing along. Trade secret. She was good at this. Really good. Smiling, nodding, throwing glances across the table like we were partners in a harmless little lie. I wasn't smiling back. I was barely chewing. Lily noticed first. You good, Dad? You've barely touched your food. I nodded. Just tired. She narrowed her eyes. You always say that lately. Jessica stepped in quickly. He's been working a lot. Lily looked at her, then back at me. You sure you two are okay? This again. Jessica answered with a soft laugh. We're fine, sweetie. Because it doesn't feel fine, Lily said. It feels like a movie with the sound turned off. Michael raised an eyebrow. Well, okay. Where's this coming from? She's not wrong, I said. Jessica turned to me. Can we not do this right now? Why not? It's just family, right? She stared at me, eyes wide, like I'd dropped a grenade into the mashed potatoes. Michael sat up. What's going on? I took a deep breath. This wasn't how I planned it. But it was happening. Your mom and I have been dealing with some things. Like what? Lily asked. Sharp. Curious. Worried. Jessica looked down at her plate. Fork frozen in mid-cut. It's complicated, I said. Lily folded her arms. Try me. Jessica reached for her glass. Took a slow, trembling sip. There was a mistake, she said finally. Something I wish I could take back. Lily stared at her. What kind of mistake? I saw it happen the moment Lily's brain connected the dots. Her eyes flicked to me, then to Jessica. Her voice dropped a full octave. Oh my God. You cheated. Michael nearly dropped his fork. Wait. What? Jessica didn't deny it. Just closed her eyes like she could wish herself somewhere else. It wasn't like that, she whispered. Lily stood up, chair scraping the hardwood. What was it like then, Mom? Jessica opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Michael looked stunned. Are you two getting a divorce? No, I said. Not yet. We're trying to figure it out. Lily's voice cracked. Why? She cheated. Why would you stay? I looked at Jessica. Her eyes met mine. Wet, guilty, searching. Because forgiveness, I said slowly, isn't just about them. Sometimes it's about you. About whether you want to spend your life angry or try and build something out of the wreckage. Lily didn't say anything. Michael rubbed his temples. This is a lot. Jessica whispered, I'm sorry. I've been trying to fix it. You shouldn't have broken it. Lily snapped. Dad didn't deserve that. She turned to me, eyes still burning. You deserve someone who doesn't treat you like a backup plan. Then she left the table. Quiet but angry. Jessica started to follow, but I stopped her with a look. She needs space, I said. Let her be. Michael stayed quiet, just sat there staring at his plate like it might give him answers. Dinner was over. Not officially, but it was over. Jessica and I sat there in the half-lit room. The candles were still burning, the food still warm, but everything else had gone cold. She finally said, I didn't think it would come out like that. Truth always does, I said. Doesn't matter how many candles you light. Some people just don't get it. They don't understand boundaries, don't take hints, and sure as hell don't respect the line between my house and stay the hell away. Derek was one of those people. After the kids left, Lily still not talking to Jessica, Michael hugging us both like he didn't know which side to stand on. I figured maybe the worst had passed. That maybe, just maybe, Derek had taken the final hint after being sent off like a wet dog too many times. I was wrong. It started with a text. Not to her. To me. No number saved. Just a random local area code. The message hit like a sucker punch. Hey, I think we should talk. Man to man. Man to man. That phrase always sounds tough until it comes from a guy who wears skinny jeans and brings sugar cookies to your wife's doorstep. I stared at the screen for a long while. Thought about ignoring it. Thought about showing it to Jess. But mostly, I thought about that little itch I'd had for weeks now that I hadn't heard the full story. Not from her. Not from him. And something about this? It told me I was right. So I replied. Where and when? We met at a diner off Route 7. One of those places that still smelled like smoke from the 80s and served coffee that could strip paint off a Buick. I picked the booth in the corner, facing the door. Didn't trust him enough to have my back turned. He showed up 15 minutes late, wearing a hoodie, baseball cap, and that clueless, lovesick puppy face that made me want to reach across the table and shake some sense into him. Thanks for meeting me, he said, sitting across from me like this was a peace summit. Cut the crap, I said. Why'd you message me? He exhaled. Because I'm tired of sneaking around. I deserve the truth. I blinked. You deserve the truth? He nodded, serious. She told me she was leaving you. I stared. She said you were cold. That she hadn't felt wanted in years. That she stayed for the kids, but once they left, she was ready to move on. With me. Did she now? She didn't say it in words, he added quickly, but in how she looked at me, how she let me in, you know? I took a slow sip of coffee, just to keep from breaking the table. And how many times, I asked, did she let you in? He looked away. A few. Over the span of a month. Maybe 5, 6 times. I nodded. Took another sip. Acid in my gut now. Where? He blinked. What? Where did you screw my wife, Derek? He shifted uncomfortably. Mostly at your house. Once at her sister's place when she said she was house-sitting. But she told me it wasn't about the sex. No, I muttered, it never is. Until it is. He sat forward. But here's the thing, she cut it off. Yeah? Told me it was over. But I know she still loves me. I can feel it. And if she's not leaving you, I want you to leave her. I stared at him. The audacity of that sentence. The sheer stupidity wrapped in entitlement. You want me to hand her over? Like she's a dog or a dinner roll? She's not happy with you, he said. And I make her feel alive. Alive, I echoed. You brought her cakes and cheap necklaces. That doesn't make her feel alive, Derek. That makes her feel guilty. He leaned in, dead serious. I'm asking you, man to man. Let her go. I didn't move. Just stared. Then I laughed. Not the kind you plan. The kind that just escapes because the moment's too absurd not to. You think this is a movie, don't you? I said. You think I'm gonna go home, pack a bag, and say, here you go, Jess, enjoy your life with a guy who doesn't own an iron or a mortgage? He scowled. You're being a jerk. No, Derek. I'm being a husband. One who's trying to figure out if the woman he loves made a mistake or lit a match she always meant to burn the house down with. He started to speak again, but I raised my hand. This is the last time we talk. You don't call me. You don't text her. You don't walk within 100 feet of my house. And if I do? I stood slowly, dropped the 20 on the table for the coffee, leaned across the booth. Then I stopped being polite. And you find out what man to man really means. That night, I came home to find Jessica in the kitchen again. She looked up like she already knew I had news. Did he message you? She asked. He did. Did you meet? I nodded. We talked. What did he say? He said you told him you were leaving me. She closed her eyes. I never said that. But you made him think it. She didn't answer. I need the truth, Jess. The whole truth. No more sugarcoating. No more half-confessions. She nodded, tears rising. I never planned to leave you. I was lost. Lonely. And I let someone fill that space for a while. But it was never love. It was a mistake. You said that before, I said. But now I've heard his side. And it's worse than I thought. She swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I looked at her, tired. Hollow. You should be. And then I walked past her. To the bedroom. Alone. Because some wounds don't heal with one apology. Sometimes they take time. And sometimes they don't heal at all. Some people just don't get it. They don't understand boundaries, don't take hints, and sure as hell don't respect the line between my house and stay the hell away. Derek was one of those people. After the kids left, Lily still not talking to Jessica, Michael hugging us both like he didn't know which side to stand on, I figured maybe the worst had passed. That maybe, just maybe, Derek had taken the final hint after being sent off like a wet dog too many times. I was wrong. It started with a text. Not to her. To me. No number saved. Just a random local area code. The message hit like a sucker punch. Hey, I think we should talk. Man to man. Man to man. That phrase always sounds tough until it comes from a guy who wears skinny jeans and brings sugar cookies to your wife's doorstep. I stared at the screen for a long while. Thought about ignoring it. Thought about showing it to Jess. But mostly, I thought about that little itch I'd had for weeks now that I hadn't heard the full story. Not from her. Not from him. And something about this? It told me I was right. So I replied. Where and when? We met at a diner off Route 7. One of those places that still smelled like smoke from the 80s and served coffee that could strip paint off a Buick. I picked the booth in the corner, facing the door. Didn't trust him enough to have my back turned. He showed up 15 minutes late, wearing a hoodie, baseball cap, and that clueless, lovesick puppy face that made me want to reach across the table and shake some sense into him. Thanks for meeting me, he said, sitting across from me like this was a peace summit. Cut the crap, I said. Why'd you message me? He exhaled. Because I'm tired of sneaking around. I deserve the truth. I blinked. You deserve the truth? He nodded, serious. She told me she was leaving you. I stared. She said you were cold. That she hadn't felt wanted in years. That she stayed for the kids, but once they left, she was ready to move on. With me. Did she now? She didn't say it in words, he added quickly, but in how she looked at me, how she let me in, you know? I took a slow sip of coffee, just to keep from breaking the table. And how many times, I asked, did she let you in? He looked away. A few. Over the span of a month. Maybe 5, 6 times. I nodded. Took another sip. Acid in my gut now. Where? He blinked. What? Where did you screw my wife, Derek? He shifted uncomfortably. Mostly at your house. Once at her sister's place when she said she was house-sitting. But she told me it wasn't about the sex. No, I muttered, it never is. Until it is. He sat forward. But here's the thing, she cut it off. Yeah? Told me it was over. But I know she still loves me. I can feel it. And if she's not leaving you, I want you to leave her. I stared at him. The audacity of that sentence. The sheer stupidity wrapped in entitlement. You want me to hand her over? Like she's a dog or a dinner roll? She's not happy with you, he said. And I make her feel alive. Alive, I echoed. You brought her cakes and cheap necklaces. That doesn't make her feel alive, Derek. That makes her feel guilty. He leaned in, dead serious. I'm asking you, man to man. Let her go. I didn't move. Just stared. Then I laughed. Not the kind you plan. The kind that just escapes because the moment's too absurd not to. You think this is a movie, don't you? I said. You think I'm going to go home, pack a bag, and say, here you go, Jess, enjoy your life with a guy who doesn't own an iron or a mortgage? He scowled. You're being a jerk. No, Derek. I'm being a husband. One who's trying to figure out if the woman he loves made a mistake or lit a match she always meant to burn the house down with. He started to speak again, but I raised my hand. This is the last time we talk. You don't call me. You don't text her. You don't walk within 100 feet of my house. And if I do? I stood slowly, dropped the 20 on the table for the coffee, leaned across the booth. Then I stopped being polite. And you find out what man-to-man really means. That night, I came home to find Jessica in the kitchen again. She looked up like she already knew I had news. Did he message you? She asked. He did. Did you meet? I nodded. We talked. What did he say? He said you told him you were leaving me. She closed her eyes. I never said that. But you made him think it. She didn't answer. I need the truth, Jess. The whole truth. No more sugarcoating. No more half-confessions. She nodded, tears rising. I never planned to leave you. I was lost. Lonely. And I let someone fill that space for a while. But it was never love. It was a mistake. You said that before, I said. But now I've heard his side. And it's worse than I thought. She swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I looked at her, tired. Hollow. You should be. And then I walked past her. To the bedroom. Alone. Because some wounds don't heal with one apology. Sometimes they take time. And sometimes they don't heal at all. You never expect the moment everything changes to be quiet. No thunder. No yelling. No dramatic packing of bags or slamming of doors. Just a calm, steady kind of silence. The kind that settles in when a choice has already been made, even if no one said it out loud yet. That's where I found myself. On the edge of goodbye. But not quite there. I'd spent weeks pulling myself out of the hole. Not to hurt her. Not to punish her. But to remember who I was before I became him. The husband who got ignored. The placeholder in his own house. The man who used to walk in from work and hear his name said like it meant something. That guy was gone. And the new one? Well, he didn't beg, didn't plead, didn't chase. He watched, he measured, and he decided. It was a Sunday when she finally cracked. We were cleaning out the garage, something she suggested, trying to build a bridge back into us by revisiting old routines. Dusty boxes, broken garden tools, a bin full of the kids' old toys we couldn't bring ourselves to throw away. I was lifting the last box when she said it. I miss you. Simple words. Soft. I didn't answer. Just set the box down and turned toward her. She was looking at me the way she used to, like she was seeing me for the first time, not for what she wanted, but for what she could lose. I miss what we had, she said, stepping closer. I miss waking up next to you. I miss knowing what you're thinking. You gave that away, I said. Calm. Even. I know, she whispered. But I never stopped loving you. I swear to God, I didn't. I looked at her, really looked at her. She meant it. I could see that now. But sometimes meaning it doesn't fix it. Sometimes love shows up too late to matter. You slept with another man, I said. More than once. In our house. While I was out working to keep it standing. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheek. I can't take it back. No, I said. You can't. She stepped closer. But I want to move forward with you. No more lies. No more pretending. Just honesty. Just us. I didn't answer right away. Just let the silence stretch. And then I said, okay. Not a soft, okay. Not a forgiving one. But a cold, deliberate one. Okay. She repeated, confused. You want me back, I said. Fine. Here's what that means. I laid it out like terms on a contract. Simple. Unbending. You tell the kids. All of it. You don't sugarcoat it. You don't shift blame. You own what you did. Her breath caught. But. No, I said. You want to fix it? Start there. She looked shaken. They'll hate me. They already do, I said. At least if you're honest, they might respect you one day. She wiped her face. Nodded. And then, she asked, voice small. Then, I said, you follow my lead. We see a counselor. We rebuild from nothing. I decide when and if I wear that ring again. You don't ask. You don't rush. You earn it. And if I can't, she asked. I looked her dead in the eye. Then I leave. Not tomorrow. Not dramatically. I just go. Quiet. Clean. Her lip quivered. And you'd never come back? No, I said. Because I'll have already buried us. She broke then. Not loudly. Not in sobs. But in a slow, collapsing way, like the weight of what she'd done finally settled on her shoulders and wouldn't move. I didn't comfort her. That wasn't my job anymore. Not yet. Over the next week, she told the kids. It wasn't pretty. Lily didn't even let her finish. Walked out. Slammed the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. Michael said nothing. Just left. Quiet. Angry. Jessica sat on the stairs after, shaking. You okay? I asked. She nodded. No. Good, I said. That means it's real. A few nights later, she knocked on the bedroom door of my room now. Stood there in pajamas, looking like the girl I married. Can I sleep next to you? She asked. I didn't answer. Just moved over. She lay down, hands folded over her chest like she was praying. I love you, she said. I didn't say it back. Not because I didn't feel it, but because I needed her to work for it. Like I had to. We fell asleep like that. Two people in the same bed. Not holding. Not touching. Just close. For the first time in a long time, it didn't feel fake. It felt like ground zero. A place to rebuild. Maybe. She waited until we were on the back porch, quiet night, stars out, wind just enough to make the trees whisper. That's when she said it. I was wrong. Not defensive. Not wrapped in excuses. Just plain. Raw. I betrayed your trust. I got lost. And I dragged you through hell because I couldn't face myself. She looked at me, eyes red, voice cracking. I'm sorry, and I mean it. Not because I got caught, but because I hurt you. You didn't deserve it. And I swear to you, it will never happen again. I didn't speak right away. Just sat there, letting it settle. Then I nodded. All right, I said. But we do this together. That means time. Honesty. No more drift. No more silence. She reached for my hand. Let's start now. A week later, we booked a cruise. 7 days. Just us. No work. No phones. No memories of what broke. We left all that on shore. We danced under open skies. Laughed over cheap buffet food. Watched the sun rise like it was something we hadn't seen before. And somewhere between the waves and the quiet, I looked at her and thought, we're gonna be okay.